I took a trip to the University of Washington to witness for myself the Hamas encampment there. While I was walking through the encampment, which surprisingly I did get in, it was full of pro-Hamas supporters and Antifa. I spent 4 hours within the encampment and alongside the perimeter. And while I was there, I noticed that there was these written numbers with marker on everyone's arms. Now, two girls who were actually very nice, they thought I was one of them, they came up to me and they asked me whether or not I had the number written on my own arm. I said no, and they told me how important it was for me to write down this number should there be escalated law enforcement interactions.
Wait, what do you mean? Wait, is that when you have to say, you say your name and everything, right? Like if something happens?
Yeah. This is the community bail fund, is to bail you out in case you're arrested.
They told me that this number would offer bail, and the bail would be sent to $1,000 if I was detained.
America's campuses are out of control. Well, even more than usual, I guess you could say. As you can see from these clips, the battle between pro-Palestinian Antifa rioters and pro-Israel protesters have reached all-time highs. The Antifa militants tearing apart campuses are obviously coordinated and funded by someone or a group of people with very deep pockets, as that opening clip from Gabrielle Cuccia showed. We've been constantly assured by the media that the pro-Palestinian Antifa types are just peaceful protesters looking to stand up for innocent children in Gaza out of the goodness of their own heart. But this doesn't look very peaceful.
That could be a weapon. Yo, you don't gotta put that in my face. You don't gotta put that. Yo, get up there. Get the back.
Thanks, it's fine.
I guess that's what MSNBC would refer to as mostly peaceful aggravated assault. And what is law enforcement doing to stop these criminals from terrorizing and assaulting innocent women on campuses? Well, let's see.
They confirmed to me that the university has instructed campus police to protect the Hamas encampment.
Join me now is Gabrielle Cuccia, who was a true champ and flew out to the University of Washington to film the pro-Palestinian encampment in all its glory so you and I could see it without having to leave our house. Remember, that's what happening at University of Washington is a microcosm of what's happening all across America's campuses across the nation. Gabrielle, first off, are you okay? They really came at you.
No, I'm actually fine. You know, in the video, you can see that they grabbed my phone and pulled my forearm in. I'm still in my 20s. I'm 5'5". I'm 120 pounds and I'm combat trained. So joke's on Antifa because it only took me a matter of seconds to wrangle them off me. And as you can see, they tried to tease a little bit and pursue through that metal barrier, but realized that if they wanted to come for seconds, it wasn't going to work out pretty well for them, despite that stupid bat that one person is holding, as you can see on the screen right there. So I'm doing just fine. Hate to see the other guys.
Don't let that pretty face fool you. What a lot of people don't know is that Gabrielle Cuccia is very tough, and she trained to be very tough. I want to get to those numbers, though. Did you call the number that they had you write on your arm?
Yes, I did call the number that night. Actually, I used a alternate phone number to contact just to ensure that number was actually working. A woman did answer the phone. I didn't want to reveal any information or have a traceable phone number. At first, that was just a testing phone call. I made an additional call with, again, another fresh new number. And that's when it was an 8:30 a.m. ring. I tried again at 9 a.m. Neither one answered, went to voicemail after the few rings. I just want to make it clear that I think some people were reporting that this number actually goes straight to a voicemail that's manned, but it's a working phone number. It's a personal line. That number traces back to an individual. I'm trying to play nice, trying not to dox, but again, that phone number, I look at the fact that every student had that number on their forearm written in marker clear as day on film and in photos and in person. I see them as walking billboards. And again, that number was given to me with instructions. So it definitely goes to an individual. It's nowhere to be found. That phone number says that it's a community bail fund, and the Northwest Community Bail Fund wreaks absolute havoc in Washington state. Everyone wants to talk about the fact that they had Hamas protesters that were blocking SeaTac, the airport in Seattle. But I'd also like to note that they certainly bailed out people. One in particular had shot a cop 9 times. Another slashed a man in the throat with a box cutter. Plenty of other horrific crimes that this bail fund has infamously paid for these people who have no regard for human life or for this country and be in law and order. And it's just absolutely appalling. Truly, I have no words. It is sick to my stomach to see that this is actually happening. And in which, sorry, I know I missed that part, but yeah, if you call this bail fund, you have $1,000 at a minimum, at least specifically for this Hamas encampment, $1,000 of bailout funds that they'll give to you. As you can see here on your screen, they also have money coming in from Fidelity Investments. So get your money out, and Schwab. It's just, can you believe it? Truly.
I can because I've come to believe these corporations will do anything. And let me add, this sounds so similar to what was happening in 2020 with the George Floyd riots. Is this the same group? Are these the same people? Yep.
Emerald, see, this is why I love talking to you, because you just know, the right questions to ask, and you do your due diligence on the research. Yes, they've garnered millions of dollars, 2.5, I believe. I have the number posted on my Twitter. I should know this off the top of my head. But at least several $1 million was given to them during George Floyd. If you actually look up the Northwest Community Bail Fund, you can see that Act Blue, of course, we all know Act Blue, Democrat donor hub. They're on Act Blue. So Democrats, left-leaning Americans, I guess, could go ahead and just donate ultimately right there. And that's how quickly they get their funds.
There were lots of or dozens at UCLA finally arrested. And were there people there arrested?
Not that I know of. I think that's the most heinous thing, and probably, the most problematic thing that I've noticed when I first approached this camp. So to answer your question, no, I did not observe anyone being arrested. The police were nowhere to be found when I was assaulted. They probably showed up about 5 minutes after the fact, which they never asked me if I was okay, and they were guarding the encampment. To the video, not to reiterate myself too much, but the very first moments of me stepping onto that campus, I noticed state police, Seattle PD, Kings County PD, campus police spoke with their lieutenant. They told me that they were instructed to protect the encampment. When I asked whether or not they had any interest in protecting or any direction in protecting those that counter protest, or even just students who are trying to access these campus buildings that they pay tuition to access, they said no. Now, even on top of that, the barriers, you saw those nice metal barriers. When Antifa first infiltrated this campus, they had their own barriers that they had erected. And then the University of Washington did them a solid and gave them these fresh, new, malleable barriers. And to put it a step further, Antifa didn't have to lift a finger, because I confirmed with campus police that they were instructed to actually put those barriers in place for them. I saw food deliveries. The university has also orchestrated the allowance of porta potties to be installed. You cannot make this up. It is absolutely sickening. Campus police also confirmed that at least 50% of those protesters, again, I'm saying Antifa, and it's pro-Hamas. It's not even pro-Palestine. It's pro-Hamas. They just have the Palestinian jingle because you can rhyme a little bit more with Palestine than Hamas, I think. But at 50% of them, at least not students at all. I identified a few adults in the crowd that actually do a lot of protesting amongst the youth in Seattle specifically. Ed Mast is one of them with his wife, Linda Bevis. They both created these course materials that they're disseminating out into the youth of Seattle. It's called a Palestinian Trunk. And it's this huge trunk full of pro-Palestinian. When I say pro-Palestinian, again, I just, you and I talk about this stuff all the time. It's all conflated. You have innocent lives on both sides. It's outrageous that October 7th was even allowed to happen. I question the Israeli government for that. I question anyone that thinks Hamas is just a mighty fine organization. So there's a mess on both ends of the spectrum, but you have people who are posing as this pro-Palestine or pro-life or whatever you want to call it, being the good guys. And it's a load of crap, truly. I don't know if I can say that on here or not. But those are the same people that saw me get assaulted and they had no problem. One of them in particular, Susan Freed, she's a very active photographer in Seattle, and she was there right next to me. We were rubbing elbows together as I was filming, because again, I spent 4 hours with the Hamas protesters. 4 hours. They offered me water, drinks, gave me the bail fund number. All of a sudden, I walk out to the other side of that barrier, and now all of a sudden, I'm public enemy number one, rubbing shoulders with the photographer who thought she was friendly with me, and then saw me get attacked. And I saw some other footage from people that they've sent to me showing her just getting right up in my face, taking those photos, not giving any regard at all. A leftist, pro women, all that. She didn't care at all. They don't care.
Every woman matters, right? Unless you're conservative. Right?
Exactly.
I have one, no Moss to Hamas. I mean, I think we can come up with some jingles on our side of things. It's good to see you, Gabriella.
Thank you,
Gabrielle with DC Draino Media. Good to see you. We'll catch up soon.
Sounds good.
Now, those crazy people Gabrielle Cuccia encountered aren't